before I start, Pop's going to kill me for wearing this shirt. He's going to call me a hapless rube for wearing the shirt. But no, I just want to say thank you to Pop and to the Spurs organization for everything that they meant to me in my career. I know this is a pretty emotional day for the Spurs. It is for the entire NBA. The number of people Pop has influenced, the number of coaches in his coaching tree, it's just incredible. But Pop is one of the most important people in my life for many, many reasons. And most of them go way beyond basketball. But it's a sad day. It's also an encouraging day, I think, because I think this is a natural transition for him organizationally to move into his next role. I think it also gives him the space and the time that he needs, to recover from, the health issues. And so I've got a lot of mixed emotions today, mainly just my love for Pop, my empathy for him, for what he's gone through, for the Spurs organization, all of the above. And it's a very, very emotional day for everybody involved. So thank you, Pop. I'll take the shirt off after, and love you, and we'll see you soon.
Steve, when did you have that shirt made up?
Raymond just handed it to me as I walked in. So, yeah, Playoff Raymond is on it yet again.
Have you talked to him, and is there anything you could share of your conversation?
He would not want me to share anything about personal conversations. I went and saw him 3 weeks ago when we were in San Antonio. We had a great visit, and we stay in touch all the time.
And in kind of a full circle way, he's obviously impacted Ime Udoka, who played and coached under him. How beautiful and symbolic is it that you guys are coaching against each other on this day?
Yeah, I mean, you could say that almost any matchup. You seem to be coaching against a Pop disciple. That's his impact, on the game, on the league, the success, the records, all that stuff goes without saying. But it's the impact he's had on so many of us, our lives, our families, and then of course, our coaching development. Learning. I mean, I think Pop transformed coaching over the last 20 years. I think it went from one era to the next with several coaches kind of leading the way. I think Phil Jackson and Pop, and I know I'm biased for both of them, but I think each of them in their own way transformed the coaching profession into more than just X's and O's, authoritarian figure, to culture and collaboration and, this unique chemistry that great teams have. Those two guys, in my mind, helped create the current culture that we're in for coaching and team building, where it's so much based on values, human connection, and then a fierce competitive desire to go with that. And to me, that's what we're all searching for. And I think, like I said, Pop sort of helped create that vibe around the league and in other sports too.
Backing up on that, Steve, over to you, right? Pop, whether it was his willingness to speak out on issues beyond basketball, the load management, different things, how did he stretch the definition of what a coach could and should do, maybe?
Yeah, I think he probably was one of the first coaches in the modern generation to really speak out on politics, on social injustices. I know one of my favorite coaches is Dean Smith. Dean Smith in the 60s helped, break down the racial barriers in the South, refusing to take his team to certain places to play or stay or eat. I think Pop is kind of in that Dean Smith mode of seeing the bigger picture beyond sports. And those are the coaches who really, stand out to me. The guys who, and Phil, I immediately think of Phil in that regard too. Just the guys who recognize the importance of sports and yet the relative unimportance, and find that balance and that perspective, and then, make an impact societally, and that's where Pop is.
Coach, along the same lines, where do you think Pop got the confidence to speak unapologetically with this platform about social issues? And before you were able to do that as a coach, did you get inspired by him at all, or talk to him about the best way to do it yourself?
I was 100% inspired by Pop to have the courage to speak out and, take the hits that you're going to take if you do. I met Pop when I signed with the Spurs in '99 during the lockout, and you could see the conviction, you could see the dedication to his country. An Air Force grad, proud Air Force grad. From the first national anthem, I saw him standing at attention towards the American flag. I knew how much he loved his country, and I knew how much his Air Force experience meant to him. And I think that conviction, combined with, let's just say, the shenanigans of this century politically, really all the BS kind of started, right around that time, at the turn of the century, where, between social media and buffoonery politically, we just got into this current era we're in, where everybody's screaming at each other. So I think he already had the conviction, but he saw what was happening, and he wanted to make sure he spoke out.
Hi, Steve. With regards to tonight's game, and for someone that's never been in this position or been in the locker room, can you just describe what it's like for your team, knowing next year things change, that you're trying to just get an extra series, an extra day with these guys and moving on because things change rapidly in the league?
So fun. I mean, was what it's about, to compete at the highest level in the NBA playoffs. Steph talked about it, meaningful basketball. This is, tonight is meaningful basketball. And, we have 2 cracks at this thing to advance. We obviously want to get it done today, but, we come into this building tonight knowing we got a wonderful opportunity. Nothing's guaranteed, but we feel very confident that if we play our game, we hit our keys with this crowd, we've got a great chance to win and advance. And, I say it all the time, all we want is a chance. Every year you just want a chance. And, Jimmy came in here and gave us a chance. Our guys have done an incredible job flipping the season, advancing to this point. And now it's up to us to go get it. And that's why we're here. That's why we do this.
Steve, everybody available, healthy? How's Jimmy feeling?
Yep, everybody's available.
And I don't know how much you watched the video of Game 5, but did you, obviously you talked about it to us afterward, but whether watching the video or thinking about it more, what did you learn from that night that maybe can help you tonight?
I learned that we stunk. That's about it. And I know, but I don't think it was anything strategic. I think it was they just were way better, and we got to be better tonight.
How urgent do you plan to coach from a minutes perspective tonight with your stars? Just, how comfortable are you going over 40 for, all 3 of your names?
Yeah, it'll all depend on how the game's going, but we're ready to give our guys, heavy minutes. They're ready for it. So we'll always play it by ear, and foul trouble could dictate some things, injuries, you never know, but our guys are ready to play big minutes if they need to.
We've talked about getting Jimmy the ball and getting spaced around him. Are there specific spots on the court where you'd like to get him the ball? Like inside the arc, outside the arc, in the corner, anything like that?
He likes the ball at the elbows. He likes the ball at the kind of the wing where he can go either way. But generally, you don't need to run anything for Jimmy. If you get him the ball, you have to get spaced around him, but wherever he is, he's pretty comfortable. Thank you.
Nice shirt. Obviously, big news today with Greg Popovich announcing that he's going to step down as head coach. I know you two are very close. What impact did he have on you as a player, coach, and person in general?
A little bit of everything. I'd be up here all night if I told all the stories and all the impact. But obviously, as a professional, I played 2.5 years for him, coached 7, so spent 10 years of my life, and but that's probably the least important. It's the person aspect that you talked about, and the daily messages, the lessons that we all learn and think back on, and it's a bittersweet day, obviously, for all of us. But happy he's in a good place, and happy he's good with his family, and so just a special day, special person. Obviously, one of the best to do it, or the best to do it, and glad I got a chance to work with him, learn from him, and call him a friend.
What was your reaction when he told you?
I knew a while ago, so it was coming. But yes, happy for him. Bottom line, and communicated a few weeks ago, and knew this day was coming, and so just wanted to keep it private, and he gave me a call today as well, and shared some words of wisdom going forward.
Did your understanding kind of how to be a coach change because of anything that you observed Pop do?
I wouldn't say understanding. I think to me it always made sense the way he was and how he thought the game and went about everything. There was never I don't understand why he's not doing that. It seems pretty simple, and I think very similarly to him as far as a lot of things. And so, he does it his way, and the first thing he would tell you is you have to be yourself and not try to copy somebody, be who they are. And so we all go about it different ways, but the foundation of coaching and the day-to-day lessons, like I mentioned, those always stick with you. But now the understanding, he keeps it very simple, and he says there's no magic formula to this. It's about caring for people, and that's the basis of everything he does. Coach, it's one thing to speak out about what's wrong with your people, but Popovich did it for people that didn't look like him. Did that for a lot of African Americans and people that were less privileged. What do you think it is about him that made him care, and also consider it important to use his platform to speak out for people who didn't look like him? Yeah, I would go back to saying it is who he is. It's the core of who he is as a person. But once you get to know him and know about his upbringing and background, I think being raised in Gary, Indiana, in a multicultural neighborhood, he had always talked about the neighbors. He had an Italian family, Jewish family, black family, and everything around him. And immigrants is his being as well, and that's a big part of it. The melting pot he grew up in the area, and the people he was around and was raised with. And so that's the core of who he is, like I said, though. And it's the right thing to do, bottom line, regardless of if you're black, white, whatever.
Coach, in your experience in the playoffs, you're used to being around older, experienced teams. Being around this young group, have you learned anything about yourself that you might not have known coming into this playoff series?
It's just a little bit different with the preparation that you have to get guys ready for. The veteran team's been there, done that, and a lot of guys, and we do lean on our veterans as well. But my message coming in was what we've done has worked all year, and so let's keep it simple and not reinvent the wheel. And there's going to be some ups and downs and some things you have to get used to, physicality and the intensity of every play. But at the end of the day, it's basketball, and I think our young guys approach it like that. And so for me anyway, just the details. We talked about consistency coming into the series, and that's going to be a big part of it. And the quicker we could get accustomed to that, the more success we'd have. And it felt like we kind of got hit in the mouth a few times early in the series, or weren't as prepared as we needed to be for certain things. And we got a chance to really do a deep dive review, and we've been much better since. So I would say just the attention to detail that it takes to win a playoff game, and, knowing your opponent, and they know you just as well. And so it takes our guys a little bit of time with that, but seems like they got it down, and we can continue to build from there.
You mentioned before the series started that you have to beat the Warriors physically and mentally. So what do you want to see as far as mental toughness tonight from your guys?
What it takes to avoid those lulls like we had in last game here. The
13-2 start to 18-1 third quarter, and so that's a big part of it. They're a team that thrives off of runs and big shots and turnovers and those things, and so the mental toughness to do the right thing on every play, a simple thing every play, and be consistent is the theme of this playoffs for us. And so understanding the crowd's going to be into it, they're going to try to be more physical and all those things that happen. You just have to take that initial hit or deliver it yourself and not be as reactive as we had been at times.
I think after Game 5, you talked about your team's ability to recognize the plays that are coming. Is that something that you had to kind of experience in the game to understand what the Warriors have coming in the future, or is it just a natural thing of playoff basketball?
No, I mean, you see it, and at some point, the lineup changes, adjustments, but who you are is who you are, and I think we've guarded their sets much better. You had that week of preparation, and you hope to get it down, but that's some of the things with the younger group as opposed to a veteran team that understands the league, understands certain things, and sees things come and have a good awareness of that. I think we weren't our best early in the first few games, but we've gotten much better at that, and so you're 6 games into it now, you should start to know certain trends and things like that. And I think we have done that. So now it's about the personnel and limiting certain guys' tendencies. And I think that's the next step for us to take away certain actions. We guard the plays well. Now it's time to guard the personnel a little bit better. Thank you.